Hi there, I'm Jonathan and welcome to my channel, Jonathan's World. Crafting, creating and chatting. This is a long awaited one-on-one just whip and chat, you know, where I just talk to you, my followers, and what's going on with me at the moment. There's no distractions, there's no Twitch, it's not live, it's pre-recorded, and I'll be working on one of my diamond painting projects. So I would really like to work on my mystery by Pinson. It's mystery number 77, Diamond Art Club kit, and I know some of you may be working on this mystery. So what I've done is I've literally cut to just the section I'm working on. I'm not barely anything else showing, so you can't see the image that I'm working on. Obviously it'll be obvious of the type of thing I'm working on. All I would suggest is maybe just dim your screen, turn your screen off, or just listen to me, because I will just be talking. So yeah, just if you don't want to be spoiled. But yeah, so yeah, okay. So yeah, right, let's get on to it. So I'm just going to switch the camera now. As you can see, I've just got the section I'm working on, really. So it's just the sparkle, but it's my hands, it's the movement, isn't it? I was just making sure it wasn't constantly autofocusing. If it does, I'll just have to deal with that. But okay, right, so first of all, I'm going to get some drills out. So what shall I work on next? Let's do some down here. Let's do some wands. Okay, so I am using my tray from More Zest, and if this is a special tray they did last year, it's a 7-colour tray, so it's got like the so I'm trying to show without the drills going everywhere, because I'm stupid me, you know. See, it's got all those different layers, and it's the orange. The bottom is orange. Oh, excuse me. Let me just turn that onto Do Not Disturb for now. Should cover us. Okay, so I'm shaking that. I do love More Zest trays just because they're easy to fill and easy to empty for doing like confetti work, which this project is a lot of. And yeah, now also I am working with a few of my wooden pens actually, by a company called Jay's Hand Turned Pens, who are on Etsy. Unfortunately, I have issues with Etsy, so I haven't been able to buy any more, although I get friends to buy them for me. And you see there's this lovely one which is a different colour. I think he stains them before he turns them. And then yeah, yet another one. This is Brazilian hardwood. This one is evergreen oak, and this one, not too sure what this one is. It might be it's another wood that's stained. I can't remember though, to be honest. But and then I've got Diamond Art Club's twist pen. So the idea is this: you twist this and it brings putty out the end. It does tend to come a bit over, and then that's really good for ABs. If I'm single placing any ABs, I might use that. Okay, I've also got my Bijou Bliss little trash pot, and occasionally if I need to use a bigger tray, I have loads of Bijou Bliss trays, but this is one of them. And yeah, I think this is the 2-colour. You can get 3 colours where the base is a different, the base and the lines and the box are all different colours, which is quite cool. But I don't think I'll be using that today. Okay. Right, so just gonna get going. Okay, so unfortunately, so I am on annual leave at the moment from my job, as a community nurse, the district nursing team in St Neots. I'll talk a bit more about that in a little bit. But basically, yeah, I'm on holiday. We were meant to be going to Norfolk, and me and we got there to our hotel. Hotel was absolutely lovely, but unfortunately, Alan became unwell and had some kind of unknown gastric issues. And we thought to begin with it was just constipation or something, but then he was just in so much pain, and yeah, and we ended up going to A&E, and the next day A&E was absolutely well, the hospital was amazing. It was I think it was at Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Kings Lynn. There was actually a nurse at the entrance to A&E triaging people, and she, as soon as she saw us, she sent us to the GP front desk, which is basically like we have a GP in the UK. We have the NHS, so everything is amazing service. Everything is paid for by the taxpayer, so you don't pay anything if you're a resident of the United Kingdom. Yeah, but our accident and emergency is you just walk in, and sometimes it can be a long wait. It all depends on the need of the urgency of all the people that come in, and their current load, on the service. So you just never know. You could be seen within half an hour. You could be seen within several hours. They do have this like 4 hour breach thing that they like to get people seen within 4 hours and either seen, treated, or sent to a ward within 4 hours. I'm not sure how. I've not worked in a hospital for a few years, so I'm not sure how close to that they still stick, because it was a bit difficult, because it was a bit obsessive, because people would be obsessing over the breaches, rather than thinking about the patients. They just wanted to think about getting them out of there, and okay, they were getting them sorted, but it wasn't always brilliant. Okay, so yeah, but anyway, I digress. So the nurse saw us, sent us to the GP front desk, which is basically general practitioners, which are like a general see-all doctor, which is like your family doctor that you would see you see in the GP surgery in your community. It's doctors it's those sorts of doctors, but they work in frontline services at hospitals. So, and they see minor problems that don't need A&E, and it takes the pressure off A&E, and it also means you're probably seen a little bit quicker. And indeed we were seen within about 15 minutes, and the doctor was really, really good. And yeah, in the examined Alan, asked him loads of questions. In the end, we thought it was she thought it was either muscular or some kind of issue with the guts, a reaction of the gut, and recommended that he take some Buscopan for spasms. So that's an antispasmodic drug. And he did, and then go on liquid diet for a couple of days, because one possibility was it could have been some kind of diverticular related issue, so diverticulitis is basically, going into lots of medical detail now, but the large intestine kind of has all these little tiny sacs which can get on the side of it, which can get bigger if they get irritated, and we don't know a complete reason for this, but things can get trapped in these little sacs, and and cause pain and everything. It's long been alleged that things like nuts and seeds and things are bad because they can get trapped. I don't think there's a huge amount of evidence now to suggest that, but people with diverticulitis do tend to stay away from those sorts of tiny things that can get trapped in the gut. But anyway, we don't think it was that, based on the fact that just based on how his symptoms resolved, really. I don't really want to go into too much details because it's not exactly the nicest thing to talk about, is it? But anyway, he went on the anti-spasmodics, the Buscopan, which you can get over the counter, and and he went on a liquid diet for a couple of days. Unfortunately, we had to come home from the hotel, which was sad, but was what it was. I mean, I was impressed with myself, really, because I wasn't that upset. I was just like, obviously we couldn't go stay at a really nice hotel and eat rich food and everything when Alan was unwell, so we came back. But we are planning on going back. But it's because it's quite close. It is perfect for like a long weekend, this hotel. We were staying for 4 nights, Monday to Friday, so we are definitely planning on going back. But we just have to see when that's going to be. I mean, we were planning on another holiday to Prague later in the year, but we think we might put that on the back burner for this year because we just feel, that with what's happened, we don't really want to push ourselves too hard, with planning an elaborate holiday, because we were going to get the train down to I think we're going to go take the train down to Switzerland, and then stay somewhere in Switzerland, probably Zurich, I'm not sure. And then there's a really nice train that goes through the Alps, that we were going to get to Prague, and so we get all that scenery. Then we'll stay a few nights in Prague, and then we go back from Prague through Brussels. And I was thinking about whether to tag something else on, but I can't remember what it was. But yeah, but I've always wanted to go to Prague, it's a beautiful, beautiful city. I mean, about 20-30 years ago, it was untouched by modern things because of the communist regime there, but I think after the communist regime fell, it has become a lot more modern. I don't think there's a McDonald's on every corner, but there was. I think quite a few years ago there was nothing. I think the film Amadeus, which is a film about the life of Mozart, even though it was set in Vienna, most of it was filmed in Prague because at that time Prague was untouched. It just looked like Vienna would have looked in the 1800s. Okay, have I done all of this? Oh no, got a couple left there. Yeah, so unfortunately, we're putting that on the back burner, but we are going to Centre Parks later in a couple of months in July, and actually my mum and dad are going to help cat sit for us because I'm using these said to my mum because my mum is retired but my dad isn't completely yet, and so my mum has quite a lot of time at home on her own, so I have her over here and she goes over to my sister's to help with my nephew Alex, and just to see my sister as well, and so she does a few of these bits, and so I said jokingly, oh, do you want to come and cat sit while we're going to Centre Parks in July? And then before I knew it, she said, oh, we're going to come together, but your mum and dad's going to come as well. Oh, we've got all these day trips planned. And it's like, oh, okay. So what turned up joke was actually turned okay, so we got cats, because the problem is catteries in this country are just a thing of the past almost. Pretty much every cattery in our local area is gone now. People just don't seem to want to do it, and I can understand why, because just excuse me, I think I'm just missing a colour. Yeah, I can understand why, because it's a very, very hard job, you know, very unsocial job. You've got to have people to look after the cats, all the, you know, all day, every day. Well, at certain points in the day, like morning, evening feeding. There's the stress, I guess, of if anything happened, you know, if you lost a cat or one escaped, I guess, you know. I mean, you hear horror stories, you know. I think I knew someone whose the cat escaped and ran across the road and got run over, and then, you know, that's your absolute your worst nightmare, isn't it? You want to leave it in a safe place. So I can imagine the stress of all that. Yeah, and I just don't see many young people wanting to go into that profession. So you ended up having a lot of older people running the catteries who were on the brink of retirement, and then or had already retired and just like were doing it just for a bit of extra money, and yeah, eventually they just don't end up doing it anymore. So yeah, I think cat sitting is the future. So there are many cat sitting agencies I know about, but luckily I have a friend who cat sits to me a lot. Well, she house sits actually, so she comes and stays in the house, because I do like having someone here if possible, you know. So my mum and dad are coming in July, but I've got my friend that was cat sitting this time, but obviously she didn't need to do it as long this time, that I pay just to look after the house and look after the cats. And I just like the fact that they've got someone here and they're just not on their own, you know, because obviously cat sitters will come and spend a little bit of time with them and then feed them and then go, because obviously they've got several to do and they've got their own lives to carry out as well. But yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it? You know, we've just got to move with the times, unfortunately. Oh, sorry, I'm missing bits totally. Yeah, so so that was our holiday. Unfortunately, we didn't even get into the spa, although we did have a really nice meal the night before, as we went. You know, so the evening we went, it was lovely, and it wasn't. We do not think it was the food that did it or anything like that, you know, or even the richness of it, because it wasn't that. Even though it was it was all inclusive. So we paid dinner, bed, and breakfast. So we weren't stressed out about finding dinner every night, and it was a lovely restaurant. We had 3 courses easily. We didn't feel full. We felt comfortably full, but not, you know, like we'd already eaten full, you know. So we were very happy with the place. It was lovely. It was a smallish hotel, main building, and then it had a few extra rooms in like outer buildings or bungalows or cottages that had been built and everything. So yeah, it was a very nice setup. So we will go back there though, because we don't want to cloud that experience with negativity. So yeah, I'm obviously missing these tiny bits of colour. Where are you? Yeah, so I get all my friend page does this, and I started doing it where you just get all the colours out, so you can you know, spot what colours you're gonna, so you know how many colours you've got left roughly. But obviously I always miss colours out when I try to count all the colours, because you get colours that have not hardly any, and then you just miss them. But yeah, just I have to double check if there's any more of this colour in here. I don't think there is. I can already see ones I've missed of colours I've already done. Yeah, I think that's done for now. Yeah, so anyway, we ended up back here, and to be honest, it's been alright. It's been a nice chilled week. Unfortunately, my bestie Sarah isn't having the best of times. She had a UTI this week, which wasn't good, and so she was in a lot of pain, and she's only just getting her energy back, and she is just really, really struggling at the moment. She's on this what we call this autoimmune protocol diet, which is because of her undifferentiated connective tissue disease. Basically, it means that the best diet for her condition and everything is this autoimmune protocol, which I always used to call a no joy diet. But basically, it's also because she has chronic gastritis, and she really her stomach struggles to cope with a lot. I mean, it's a lot of binge eating from her mental trauma through the years, and yeah, so she's not had the best time. In some ways, she's experienced a lot more things and better things than I have, though, in her life, you know. So, but yeah, at the moment she's having a bit of a tough time. So, but tomorrow we are going to do a prep session, baking load of stuff that she can freeze, and then she's got stuff to have breakfasts, and all sorts, breakfast, lunch, snacky things, you know, just so that, because one of the issues is she just doesn't have the energy to prep anything, and so she ends up eating crap, you know, or eating like things that aren't necessarily that good for her. And it's not rubbish. It's like things, but you just think Sarah can't have things that you wouldn't even think twice about having, you know. I mean, even like gluten-free things, there are things in them that some of them she can't have, you know. So, I mean, Tesco have a really good free-from range, and she can eat some of them, but sometimes it's just damaging, you know, her body doing it, you know. So it's a real struggle for her, and I really feel for her. So we're going to have a prepping session tomorrow, where we're going to bake some things. Like, I think we're going to do some kind of egg muffin things where we put some egg and spinach and onion and lardons maybe into like muffin molds, and then we'll and then once they're made, we'll freeze them, and then she can have them. But yeah, so. But she's yeah, but I'm looking forward to doing that. So we're going to do that over here. I've got the summer house all done and ready now. So, oh yeah, that's another thing. Oh, sorry, I've not even talked about that, have I? So yeah, so we're going to do that tomorrow. But this coincides with the fact that I've finally been treated for my ADHD, where so I was diagnosed last May, I think, and put onto the list of titration, which means that you get put on a list to go onto medication, but it's called titration because they have to get you on the right medication, the right dose. So, and that's overseen by a specialist prescriber that works for the organisation Psychiatry UK, which I've been diagnosed under. So I've got it. Yeah, so I'm just right at the beginning of that process. But yeah, so I started about 4 or 5 days ago. Yeah, 4 days ago. I think we're day 5 today. Yeah, we're day 5 today. And yeah, I mean, the first day I spent about 2 hours focusing on a Sudoku puzzle, so I think it kind of, because it made me concentrate more, so it kind of played into my hyperfocus. And it took me several days to do that puzzle. Now I'm spending several days doing another one, but my week magazine that I get, which tells me all the news and everything, has them in, and sometimes they're extremely difficult, sometimes they're easy, sometimes they're medium, you know. Yeah, so, yeah. But yeah. So I yeah, so but so I was quite focused on the first day. Sarah thought it was really weird that I was focusing on her more. I didn't feel a magic effect. Like Sarah claims that she felt like suddenly that she was aware of things a lot more and more focused and everything. I've not felt that. I've not felt like it's not an obvious feeling to me. If you have ADHD and you're on meds, let me know your sorts of thoughts and feelings of the meds, because I don't feel a magic effect, but I do experience the effects, I must, in my life. So, like, things like, just being able to focus on things a lot longer. Like day 2, I managed to, as I was just saying earlier, I sorted the whole summer house. So, my summer house, has been filled with rubbish, like stuff that just needs to go to charity shop or the tip for about 2 years now, and every time I thought about doing it, it just overwhelmed me and I didn't do anything and just left it and ignored it. So anyway, the other day, I've been doing more crochet recently. I'll try and talk about that in a bit, but basically, yeah, I've been doing more crochet, and I thought I want a nice little haven to go, just where I'm being quiet and just doing my crochet, not watching anything, not doing anything, just enjoying doing my craft. And so then I thought, oh, I could use the summer house, but the summer house isn't sorted. So I thought, and that motivated me to try and sort the summer house. So I the next morning, that when I'd thought about that, I'd like I said to Alan, I want to sort the summer house, is that okay, will you support me? And he was like, well, I can't help you doing any heavy lifting or anything, because he was just recovering from his illness. This was like just the day, the second or third day when we were back from the hotel. And yeah, but anyway, and I said, well, will you support me with the spiders? I'm being serious. I'm serious arachnophobia. Weirdly, I love watching films with spiders in them because they just can't get me. They're in the film, and I enjoy that. I love arachnophobia. It's one of my favourite films. But in real life, oh my god, I hate them. I really got stand them, and I think that was one of the things that will put me off for ages, the thought of all the spiders, because underneath all the bits, because we have things like tarpaulins, lots of carrier bags or old bags to life and everything, and who knows what creepy crawlers could be hiding under any of them. And so I was putting it off, and I thought, I'm going to be brave, going to do it, and I thought I could easily just move them out, with something else, like grab like the garden fork or spade or something, just like get them out, But in the end, it was fine. To be fair, I didn't really find a single spider I couldn't deal with. There was no big, massive, horrible spiders hiding under things. There were a couple that I saw, like, but they were quite small, but like living off on the door frame or something, but nothing major. I think I hoovered one up, but just because it got in my way when I was hoovering stuff. Sorry, I know I'm that person. But yeah, no, it was fine, and I didn't have. I think it's because of the time of year I chose to do it, because it's warm now, isn't it? So spiders aren't going inside to get away from the elements; they're mostly outside now, or they've died over the winter. So yeah, because I did see quite a lot of dead bodies, or spiders' bodies. But yes, so I was like, yes, very pleased I'd done it, but I had like, goodness knows how much stuff all over the lawn, all in different piles being sorted. It looked an absolute nightmare, but I cleaned the whole summer house out, hoovered it all, I I wiped it all down, wiped all the hoovered off the spider webs, wiped them off, and got all the furniture sorted, and it looks lovely now. I'll show you some pictures now, but yeah, no, and I've spent a little bit of time in there already, and sometimes it's just nice. I mean, sometimes even when it's cool outside, it's warm in the summer house because it's got quite a lot of glass in the doors and windows, so it does it does feel quite cozy when you're in like that. And I've actually in the past I've really enjoyed spending time in there in the autumn. And I used to craft in there. I used to knit and stuff in there, or cross stitch or whatever, but I've just not had that opportunity for such a long time because it's just been full of stuff. And part of that is like when we got the attic sorted, and stuff. It was we needed places to put stuff, and unfortunately it became one of those dumping grounds. I always think you need one place you can put things, and at that time that was the summer house, but now we've got the attic. We do have a couple of bedrooms that we can use temporarily, but it's not a permanent solution because we need we need those rooms for when we have guests over, so yeah. But anyway, so that was day 2 of my ADHD meds. So I was really pleased. Alan can't actually believe I managed to get that done. And Alan's not really noticed me my conversational skills improve that much. He's not noticed, but Sarah has, but Sarah's a bit more hyper aware, but yeah, so and I think Sarah's distractibility is just a lot worse than mine is. My ADHD is combined, so I do have distractibility, but I also have hyperactivity, and I also have a struggle. I think a lot of mine is struggling with concentration and focus, and procrastination. So being able to deal with those more effectively has just been amazing. But I'm only on the lowest dose. You start off a low dose for like 7 days, and then you go up to a slightly higher dose, and you go up to an even higher dose. So we'll just have to see how it goes as I go up in the doses, but right, this one. So one thing that has been new in my crafting journey, I suppose, well, not new, but I started to crochet again, as I was just saying earlier, and I used to knit and crochet, but I knitted quite a lot. I did 2 Aran jumpers. I've knitted little baby clothes for my nephews. And I had a haberdashery company where I, knit, where I design knitting patterns and stuff. But I haven't really hugely got back into it recently. What's that? So. But I have crocheted more. I think some of it is just because of my business that I folded, just because it wasn't a positive. It was quite a lonely experience. Struggled to make enough money, and didn't really enjoy doing it. So that took some of the joy of knitting away. But it really didn't. I never did crochet for it, so crochet's kind of remained. And also the same thing happened with my machine knitting, but what I've just discovered now is a crochet blanket pattern using a technique called mosaic, which basically is where you for those that know crochet, it's basically you've got like a crochet stitch, you have the back stitch and back loop and front loop of the stitch. So you work each colour individually, and then you and if a stitch is in work, if a colour is in work and you're doing those, then you would do that stitch from the loop from the previous row with a treble, and then if it wasn't in work you would carry it a bit behind, so you'd work it into the back loop, and that way, working the colours individually, you slot in the stitches of the pattern over 2 rows for 1 row of pattern, and it's amazing, and it's very similar to what I would call a jacquard blanket pattern you would do on a knitting machine, and it's just made me aware that I can make these amazing blankets by hand, and I never really thought I could, but it's very easy, and it's quite a labour of love. It does take a long time compared to machine knitting, obviously, but yeah, it's very enjoyable and I am enjoying it, and actually doing this has introduced me to the fact that Tunisian crochet might be a better option for me, so I think I'm really excited to try Tunisian crochet. If you want me to do some crochet streams, just let me know. I don't think it's that popular compared to my other things, but we'll see. But I'm happy to do crochet whip and chats or whatever in the future, or crochet lives. But yeah, Tunisian crochet is where you have a hook, you have a long hook, or you have a hook attached to a cable, and you basically work into every chain, but you leave the chain, you leave the stitch on your hook rather than working that last loop through the yarn through that last loop. You leave it on your hook until you've got a load of hooks, and then you kind of just work them all off again. But it's meant to be really good for big Afghans and things. But I'm excited to try. I think Sarah wants to give me her Tunisian hooks, if nothing else, I think, to get rid of stuff on me, but we'll see. I'm excited to try it, and I want to get a nice set, and I want to give it my best shot, but we'll see how it goes. I might practice with Sarah's hooks just to see if I like it, if it works for me. But yeah, and I'm sure I'll be doing blankets in no time, but I have got this mosaic blanket I want to finish, and I don't really want to get into Tunisian before that because I'll just not want to finish the blanket I'm doing. But yeah, I'll show you a picture of it now. I did make a mistake in this pattern in that I accidentally missed a colour change, and I was almost going to shelve the whole thing, but then my friends persuaded me just to slightly change it up. So yeah, I think it still looks quite good. And that pattern is on Ravelry, which is a pattern like a site where you can sell patterns. You can have a profile where you keep a track of your yarn stash, and yeah, it's quite a good place to go if you're into fibre crafts, you know. But yeah, getting back into that, it's just nice having a craft you can do in front of a telly. Just a bit of a relief, to be honest, because I just feel it's wasted time being around the telly, and I always have to figure out stuff to do. But excuse me, sorry, I've just got something attached itself to the canvas. Yes, but I'm happy having a craft to do in front of the telly, because I don't like not doing anything, being idle, you know, when I'm watching something, you know, so that's been nice. I think one issue I'm really struggling with at the moment is I just don't really have a focus. And Sarah says it's okay, and they said not everyone, you don't need to have a focus, something you're working towards. She said you can just live, you know, just live in the moment, you know. And I said, is this what normal people feel like, you know, because I don't know if it's the meds or whatever, but yeah, it just feels wrong. You know, it feels I should always be striving to do something, be working on something, you know, but have a focus. But like, it was my book at one point, and then it was my it was like these projects, I had the events, I had my plan to always like do videos and everything, so yeah. You're not having a focus feels weird. But I have enjoyed this week. I finished the first Uncharted game, and then I started the second Uncharted game. Can't remember the timeline for this, but I finished the second Uncharted game this week. It didn't take me that long. I remember really struggling to defeat this evil demon monkey thing, which actually, like, I don't know, it was demon with horns thing. I really struggled, but then I did it on like the second attempt. So I think I have become a better action gamer since I last attempted that. It wasn't that long ago, it was a few years though, but I always remember stopping it then because I struggled with that fight. And I mean, I almost stopped this time because there was a similar fight but with three things in the at the end of the game, and yeah, I honestly thought for a time that these things were unkillable because you couldn't, no matter how many times you shot them, they just didn't die. But eventually they did, you know, but yeah, it wasn't easy. But I finished that one, and I started, and I was humming and hawing. I thought, oh, I can't start the third one, you know, it's too soon. But then I just felt so, I really wanted to do that, and I just felt like, oh, I'll be forcing myself to diamond paint, because, you know, so I thought, yeah, but I try to game, like, only at one time of the day now, just to, you know, keep my, options, to keep it being a positive experience, because the way my brain works is if I do something too much, I stop enjoying it. So yeah, I have to guard myself on how much I do things, unfortunately, because if I spend all day every day doing it, then I just won't enjoy it as much, you know. So, you know, but this morning I cleaned the bathrooms. Alan did clean the windows on the summer house after I'd sorted it, and had breakfast. Sorry, had my cup of tea just now. I'm having now, and then I thought I'll come up and do some diamond painting, and yeah, and then when we have tea this afternoon, I will do some gaming then, and I think that will feel more positive, like I've earned it, you know. But it's do any of you guys feel that, you know, when you like have to earn your positive experiences, I guess, you know. But so I was thinking, yeah, so I started the third Uncharted film. For those that don't know, Uncharted is a series. I still think that Tomb Raider is Tomb Raider is a better game to me, because I just feel that it is expertly crafted. All the physics behind it and the mechanics with all the weapons, the variety of weapons, the variety in the way Lara can move, can dodge, can crouch behind things. I just think it's on another level of precision to Uncharted. I'm sorry, all the Uncharted fans out there that think that Uncharted is superior. Yeah, maybe the third game and the fourth game are better. I've only just started the third game, so, and the mechanics are much improved in the third game. But anyway, but no, I just feel that but where Tomb Raider does fall down is, I guess, the plots and the characters are very well, I think the plots are good, but there isn't that many characters. Laura doesn't have that many relationships with people. I mean, particularly, in a later game she had someone called Jonah that she was very, very close with, and that was an improvement. But a lot of the games in the past have she's been, oh, again I've missed one. It's very much been Lara versus the world, and so it's on its own. And although the plots, you know, that she has to stop are very, very good, and are very similar to Uncharted, that often end up, you know, finding an artifact before the evil people do, otherwise they'll use it and destroy the world, you know, that sort of thing. But, you know, but then it's hardly anything new. They're both heavily inspired by Indiana Jones back when. Although I've always been of the opinion that even though Lara Croft was inspired by Indiana Jones, she does it so much better. But anyway, then comes in Nathan Drake, the supposed ancestor of Sir Francis Drake, yeah, so he's like a treasure hunter, but I think the writing is probably a bit better in Uncharted than it is in Tomb Raider, and you have a variety of characters. You have a lot of camaraderie between him and his friends, and that he's fighting alongside and are helping him. And although a lot of the action is you on your own, there are circumstances where you will be you have like another computer controlled character that is like kind of experiencing the adventure alongside you. They're supposed to be shooting things and everything like you are, but I don't really think the computer controlled ones do that much. But yeah, so but I do like Nathan Drake. He's a very likable character, and I've started playing the third one. Oh my god, you get a section of when he's young boy, and when he's first meets Sully, which is the character, another older treasure hunter that he does a lot of his adventures with, you know. So yeah, and it was so good. It's so well written, and it was just brilliant to see him as a young boy. Often when you play younger person's versions of characters, they are so much more limited in what they can do, you know, and it's very frustrating, you know. Oh, you're a kid, so you can't do anything, but no, he was able to jump, climb onto things, go across ledges, you know, and yeah, and okay, he wasn't firing guns at that point, but although you know, it was. I thought it felt very real, you know, and I really did like it, and I just, yeah, and the animation in Uncharted is really good, and you know, and it just gives you that level of realism with the characters, but without going too far. You know, because as what my husband calls uncanny valley. So basically, that's when you become so realistic that you can't quite tell whether it's real or not. And it's that balance of not quite making it real enough so you know it's not real, or to making it completely realistic, or almost realistic, and then you just sorry, I had a message come up then. I lost my train of thought. Yeah, yeah, that balance I think between realism, you know, which is what spooks some people when you're watching things. I think it's a part of the human brain, really. Yeah, I think that's. There were a lot of colours in this section. That's why. I think I'll carry on talking till I finish this section because it's very nearly done, and then I will say goodbye. But yeah, so I'm really, really enjoying Uncharted, but I'm trying to savour it because they're not very long games, unfortunately. But yeah, what's this one, isn't it? Just action games, but I am having an action game sort of fix, I think, you know, because I've just wanted a break from role-playing games, and role-playing games are very, very long games, so you get your money's worth with them, but I just want a bit of a break. I'm thinking about playing another game which is a bit like Tomb Raider and Uncharted, I think slightly different. They're called Horizon Zero Dawn, which I think it's about a human woman, trying to discover stuff about her past in a very futuristic world where there's loads of robots or something. I don't know a lot about it, and I don't really want to know a lot about it until I play it, but it does look very similar to Tomb Raider in that she uses a bow a lot, fights a lot, and she's got parts of their past that she's trying to discover. So I want to, you know, discover that and see, you know. But so there's a couple of games of that, and I think they are working on a third. Other thing that if you really like Uncharted games and you are a fan of Naughty Dog, the developer behind the Uncharted games, there will not be any more Uncharted games, unfortunately. They've done that, they feel. Has it been an hour already? Nearly. Yeah, so there's not much of a mystery. Okay, so so Naughty Dog tend to do very, very heavily story-driven projects, and they put a lot of effort into them, and so that is why I think they're not going to split themselves. There's a possibility, I think, that there's something. There's a possibility that there's something coming with another unnamed studio that they got doing something, but I'm not sure, to be honest. I mean, it's very popular and people would certainly welcome it, but they're always moving forward. Quite progressive game developer, but they are developing another game. Just let me look it up. I want to get the information right because I did research all this the other day. Often when I like something, being all ADHD, I have to find out everything about yeah, it's called Intergalactic. I thought it was. So there's a new game they're working on, and this game sounds like it's going to be amazing because just on the basis that they've been working on this game since 2020. So it's been in development for 5 years, and though it's not expected to release at least till 2027. So, and they've released teaser trailers and stuff to think about this game. Sorry, just let me silence that again. I silenced you. I don't understand. Oh, there we go. You're not step. Okay. Right, yeah, so basically it's quite progressive because I think it's the lead character is a woman of colour, and she and I think I think in the past some of their actors that play characters have been discriminated against, so I think they've been putting her through boot camp to basically deal with any of the negative fallout, which is awful and stupid, and I hate how racist people can be, you know, just based on the colour of someone's skin. It's just disgusting, you know, but yeah, so, but she's, I think the lady that is playing this the main character was in the Uncharted film, I think. But yeah, it's amazingly progressive, and I love that we've got studios like Naughty Dog that are willing to, you know, promote these sorts of characters, you know, and it's very, very important, you know, for the world. I think, you know, for people, for everyone of all walks of life to have these opportunities. So anyway, yeah. What was I doing? Just a second. Do you know, there's so many colours I've missed. So many. Yeah. Right. Yeah, but the premise I think of this game is that the lead character gets stranded on this planet, and with no way off, and I think there's stuff going on with the alien civilization there, and there's a lot to do with there's a big focus on religion, I think. Yeah, and I guess she has to figure a way to get off, but it sounds like a really big game given how long it's been in development. So I am wondering, will it be, it says intergalactic, so does that mean that there'll be multiple planets or just this one planet, or will there be other, you know, stuff? I mean, I've not really looked into it a huge amount. But, you know, I'm looking forward to when that comes out, you know, because, you know, it'll be action game, you know. Years ago, Naughty Dog made a series of platformer games called Jak and Daxter. So they've come a long way. I mean, they were amazing games. And I think, and even before that, they developed Crash Bandicoot. Jak and Daxter actually had a very similar system to Crash Bandicoot in the way the character could spin, could skid, and everything. Those are very, very cool, funny games, so do check them out. There is a trilogy set that was remastered on the PS3, I think. It might be on the PS4 as well, I'm not sure. So do try and check Jak and Daxter out. But obviously, Crash Bandicoot was very, very big gaming legacy there, you know, for platforming games of the 90s. Okay, nearly done. But yeah, so sorry, big gaming talk there, but you know, it is one of my passions, and I'm glad that I'm getting back into it again, you know. It just means that my diamond painting time doesn't get as much priority, you know, but I still love it. As I said before, this is my first mystery that I've started. I have got several others though. I've got the one by Nathaniel Mortensen, is it? I think the one that did the magical potions one that I've done before. I think he did a mystery, and I've not started that yet, and I don't know the image. One of my friend Paige has done it, but I've no idea. Apparently I love it, but I don't know what it is. But and then I think I've got one by Image World, which I do kind of know what the image is, but because I think someone spoiled a picture of it. And then the old mystery, the old mysteries, which much more obvious of what they were, you know, and what the image was, because they didn't do all this amazing stuff to hide what was in the image. And if you look really far back, you can see shapes and stuff emerge, but because Diamond Art Club works so hard to use different colours and have like letters and everything in the pattern, it works quite well to hide what you're doing. Because I'd no idea what this was until it started to come to life, you know. But I will, before I turn the light board off, I will warn you, because it comes much more clear after the light board goes off. Just in case you don't want to see that bit. Or you might have just had the screen away from you while you're doing this, so you can listen but not look, which is perfectly sensible. Okay. Right, I still need... I'm sure I did a little bit of that colour earlier. Very nearly done. It's almost like this is the end of a square. It's that race to the finish line. But yeah, but it's been nice talking to you all. Oops. But yeah, so that is my square. Loving this project at the moment, but that was a lot of confetti. Now just a minute, I'm just going to count the colours. 1, 35, 36 colours in that row alone. Couldn't even fit them on my tray in one layer. Yes, so that is a lot. 36 frigging colours in that thing. Good grief. But anyway, yeah, hi confetti. This is Chuck Pinson after all. You know, I've heard, you know. But yeah, but loved doing this. I hope you did too, and I hope you enjoyed catching up with me. Please, you know, just leave a little note in the comments, just, you know, to let me know what you thought. Is there any questions you might have you want me to address in any of the next videos? Do you like the content I'm providing at the moment, or is there anything you want me to do differently? And also, more importantly, do you want me to do any crochet? Okay, so thank you for coming. If you like this video, please consider hitting the thumbs up button. If you And if you like my content in general but you've not yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and click the bell icon and click all to get all the notifications. If you want to join my little community and get more updates and everything and just take part in the comments or asking any questions or anything, the Facebook page is at the beginning and the end of the video. Okay. Alright, as always, bye for now!